So I don't know what you guys are doing to keep yourself from slitting your throat or drinking some Clorox these days, staying at home alone, but I imagine many of us are cleaning the gutters, sorting our socks, reading Proust, playing Solitaire. And we have a show coming up in the gallery called Pandemic, and it's our building wides. Everyone in the building is invited to participate, whether they're an artist or not. They must have something that they would be willing to share with us about their experiences, whether it's panic or self-reflection or what they want to watch on Netflix. But I imagine other people are doing things like playing solitaire. These cards I've never played with these cards before because I've just made them. 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, that one has a fingerprint that's marked. These cards are marked. 7. God damn it. Diamonds. These are hard to play. They're stiff. Another diamond. Should be playing bridge. Are you the kind of person that 2 of hearts? Are you the kind of person that plays by turning up only 1 card, or do you do 3 at a time? Well, this one's not finished. In fact, I haven't finished the deck yet, but what I'm doing, as you can see, is making the cards fun. And when I can, they're extra fun if they've been sitting here fading in the little tiny bits of light that come through my window. I must have some black cards somewhere. These are all red. I made a bunch of black ones. Where did they go? Ah, there's one. 3 of clubs. This is very faded. 4 of spades. Well, somewhere I have a bunch of black cards, but what I'm gonna do is make the rest of the cards, and I've got my black and white pens ready to go here, and I've sort of done this excuse me, I've done this somewhat before, where I've where I've created my own deck of cards and using the computer drawing program, but I thought it would be fun to draw a deck of cards and come up with fun faces for kings and queens and just doodle and have fun. So there's the little ruffled collar, and then on this side we get to draw the head again. And some of these are, it's the holding the sword. I'm not really paying attention to this one because I'm just making a very short video here because I've got things to do, laundry to get out of the laundry room and put in the dryer, my delicate under things. My underwear, this is probably too much information, but it's becoming crotchless. I didn't buy it that way, but it's becoming threadbare. And, so what do I do? Do I continue to have it threadbare, or do I put it on eBay? I bet there's all sorts of people out there that would look forward to buying underwear from a 63-year-old man. There's all sorts of weird kinks in the world, of which that is one, maybe. I don't know. Is it one? Write your answers below. If you want to buy my underwear, send me an email. I know that some people do sell their underwear online and can make a living at it. Used underwear. And in Japan, believe it or not, in Japan, I have heard tell, no, this is true, that Japanese men have a thing for the schoolgirl in the schoolgirl plaid skirt that they wear and their white shirt, and they like that kind of thing. And I was told by someone that went to Japan, a neighbor of mine here in the building, that there are little vending machines where you can buy such things as Japanese schoolgirl underwear. Now, whether it was used underwear or not, I do not know. There's something about the cleanliness of that you normally associate with the Japanese that would make me doubt that. But when it comes to kinks and sex, all sorts of things can happen that defy logic and reality. So let's do the Queen. My original plan for doing this work here, was before the pandemic even started, and it was going to be for a little short movie of maybe 3 minutes in duration, or maybe even less. And it was going to show a real close-up of the pen. How close can I get to this thing? I might need to get some sort of magnifier where you just see the pen nib making lines and patterns and filling in, and then you see a red pen doing it, and you don't really know what's being drawn. You're just sort of sucked into the mark making aspect of the pen and the line that it makes. And you wouldn't maybe even see hands, but every once in a while you would see maybe a hand. And the punchline would be, at the end, you'd see the hands shuffling these little pink cards and then dealing out a solitaire hand, which I think still has, there's a boob. I think it still has wings, that particular, there's a flower held in the hands of the dame. Eyelashes. And I thought that would be sort of fun. I did make a movie similar to that when I was in college. It was called The Leader. And it showed the same kind of thing, a close-up of a hand and a cuff. And the cuff had a military uniform on it was the World War I era, I guess maybe it was even World War II era German army uniform that had the cuffs that looked sort of like a big Roman numeral 2. friend of mine collected those things. In fact, I had a collection of some of them at one point, but so I wore that. So you saw this military man, presumably, drawing with a pencil and compasses, and things were being measured with compass and drafting sets, and things were being filled in with pencil, very carefully filled in. And it was the name of the movie was called The Leader. So your brain is being sent in a particular direction. Oh, I forgot the boob on this side. There we go. Let's just put a bra on her. Let's go here. Sometimes I can draw upside down and sometimes I can't. Torpedo boobs. Oh, forgot her lipstick. There we go. And I thought maybe on some of these I could actually rubricate them, which is to add red ink. It's called rubricating. Oh, the flower. Who is missing the flower? This one is missing it. Oh, let's rubricate, shall we? Let's. Anyway, back to The Leader. So the name of the movie was called The Leader, and you saw the general. We'll just call him a general. Making these what you would think were military plans. Let's make these things rubies at the top of her crown. Let's give her a little bit of bloodshot eyes there. She was up late partying. There we go. Perfect. So anyway, at the end, when the drawing was done, and that was maybe 5 minutes, which is probably 4 minutes too long, but it showed the sparkly glint of the drafting sets. Might have even have shown, the uniformed arm grabbing one of these things and adjusting it, and so you had sparkles and the green velvet. I forget now whether I actually had the case in it, but it was more than just a hand. And so at the end, it's called The Leader, and draw for 3 minutes, maybe 2 minutes. I don't know how long it was. And then suddenly you saw 10, 9, 8, 7, like the leader you see in films, where they're all drawn differently. And so it ended with that 10-second ending, and that's called a leader. So that was the punchline. Okay, so I'm not all that clever. In this case, it would have worked better because, someone who really wants to play solitaire probably could do more things with their life than play solitaire because they've got 2 nice fountain pens. God, this is fading. So anyway, what I'm gonna do for the show, I did want to, for this show, resurrect this idea, which I'm doing right now in front of you, in front of your very eyes. I'm doing it. But I'm not going to make the movie. I'm just going to have these things set out on a table, and next to it will be these 2 bottles of ink and these 2 pens, and next to that will be a little scorecard. And my father used to play solitaire every day, and he would play it in the morning, he'd play it in the noon, he'd play it at night. He'd usually do it while he was watching or listening to the news or the radio or listening to music. It wasn't that he was multitasking. It was just something for his hands to do while he watched TV or listened to TV. And he made the most beautiful scorecards. And what I should do is try to show you an example of what he did somehow. I know they're on my various devices, including, they're on my, don't go away, just wait 1 second, let's see if I can find them. I'll be right back. I never know how to search Pure Gustafson. How do I search in Pure Gustafson? Search Pure. No, I don't want to log out. When I search, it ends up searching for, the entire world when I type in Wells Gustafson. But I have to now scroll back to when he died, which was, this is sort of cute. When we were going through my dad's things, we came across this article back when news wasn't fake. And it was this article that showed a map of Delridge Road where we lived, and homeowner gives, this is handmade ornaments, homemaker gives Christmas tree individual touch, and it went all around the Mrs. Bingham, our neighbor Mrs. Bingham, and what she would do, and B. Chambers and what she would do, and Mrs. Young and what she would do, and Mrs. Gustafson, Mrs. Wells Gustafson. She didn't have a first name, as you know, because she was married to a man. So Mrs. Wells Gustafson and the tree branch. So I'll just read you the cute part. Okay, where is it? Next door lives Mrs. Wells Gustafson, 9913 Delridge Road. She is the most unusual Christmas tree I've ever seen. Her husband went to the woods and cut an 8-foot branch. To this the couple wired flocked pine boughs. One end of the tree is fastened to the mantle. The other is held up in the air by a wire hung from the ceiling. The tree runs parallel to the floor. It is trimmed in various sizes of green and gold and blue ornaments and blue lights. We originally used this idea in our tiny 2-room apartment, says Mrs. Gustafson, but with a 1-year-old son, we decided to try it again this year. Having the tree up in the air keeps Todd out of the ornaments. His brother Pierre, 3, doesn't care where the tree is. He has fun working in his parents' studio in the basement. Well, the part that they did not write and my mother did not report was my little brother would eat the ornaments. He loved eating ornaments. Oh, look at that. Pierre. Look at that cute butt. Pierre Scott. That's the first challenge drawing I did. Okay, let's keep going back. Here I'm wearing some of the necklaces my father made, here's some of my dad's letters. He had very interesting handwriting, and he could write, as you can see, he wrote in many different styles, from very sort of studied to more what I would consider his own. This is a Santa Claus card he made for a Christmas card he made one year. This is what his checks looked like in 1956. He was paying, and here's some of my dad's drawings when he was in Korea. The soldiers, etc. Okay, this is not when he died. This is at Christmas time, so we have to go back further. I want to go back. Why isn't it going back? God bless. When he died, we started going through a lot of his stuff, and I made a little display of his art. Oh, here's our cute kitty. We called him Van Gogh. He's missing an ear. Here's some pith helmets I painted with blue and white. We have a collection of blue and white plates at the lake, so I painted white pith helmets with the patterns of the plates. So here was a plate that had some battleship on it, and so I had that going around the hat. Here's a bouquet of flowers my brother did for my father's casket, and it's red, white, and blue. My dad was born on the 4th of July, so we decorated his casket. So here, I'm getting close, here are examples of his doodling, and he would doodle on newspaper headlines. He would doodle, he'd watch the news. These are 8 people who want to be president in 2011, so these are, I don't know, that's Newt Gingrich, I think. I don't know who some of these people are. There's a drawing he did of Michael Moore from the TV set, and then he doodles all over the newspapers. So here's a corner of his scorecard for, okay, come on. No, is that the last one? I guess that's the last one. Here's a corner of a scorecard that he did for Solitaire. The entire scorecard is here. So each of these little things is a score. I thought I had a better, oh, here's another part of it. So, and he played it where it's like you play in the casino, where you pay $52 for a deck, $1 a card, and then the cards you get up on top, you get $5 a piece back. And it's rigged so that you do not win. So I'd always ask him at home. There's my dad when he was dad from uncle. This was when I was in grad school or college. And when I was in grade school, when Man from Uncle was on, this guy looked just like Ilya Kuryakin. Here's some more flowers that we had for my dad's funeral. Here's some girly pictures my dad made when he was in the army. When he was in Korea, he would decorate the mess tent with the little pinup girls. Oh, there's my dad in Korea. He was a DJ as well. Oh, sleepy time. He must have weighed 10 pounds. Anyway, so that's, here's what we buried him in. Within 10 minutes of my father dying, he died at home, and we were all there, and my brothers and I started arguing. And it wasn't about, I get the car, I get the house, I get the this, I get the that. It wasn't that kind of arguing. It was, what's he going to wear? Todd wanted I thought the Man from U.N.C.L.E. look would be neat, but Troy, my little brother, wanted the thing that he would wear when he would be out on the beach, raking the beach and collecting agates, and Todd wanted something that was a little more formal. So we sort of had a little bit of everything here. It was a blue blazer, a handkerchief. He used to wear a handkerchief around his head all the time at the summer, but we put that he normally had around his head into his pocket, so it looked quite nice. Here's my dad's bookkeeping. When he would go to shows buying clothes, he would keep notes and keep his receipts, but he wouldn't just keep his receipts, he'd make little collages out of them. Because he couldn't go 3 feet without making an improvement. So here's his scorecard for Solitaire. See how well he did this day. He was down $2, down 43, down 27, plus 19, and he kept a running total. So here I guess he was up 730. He did that in 2010. So he was, how did he do here? He was up 458, it looks like. Though it looks like he started from the day before. So here he's doing drawings of people at the airport rather than complaining. He drew people at the airport, and then he also doodled. Guess who that reminds you of? Here's his scorecard. That's the one that I tried to show you before. So 40 minus 15, 25 plus 14. Here's another one, Solitaire score. And here he's also writing down the news. Solitaire score, charged versus convicted, accused versus found guilty, government. He had been a Republican most of his life, but I think he got, as many people did, tired of just how awful it was turning out. And he really liked Obama, I think. I think he even liked Clinton. He didn't like Carter. So here's, what's his name? Rick Santorum on Piers Morgan. Rick Santorum is trying to answer a question. He knows what he has to answer, and he's trying to actually use all of his brain cells to twist the truth in such a way so he can actually answer the question. Here's more scorecards. Here I'm flying home on the airplane to see my father before he died. I'm not very happy, as you can see. There's my cat telling me don't go, or go. I don't know what that means. Those cats, as you know, have this mixed message thing going on where they pull you in with their front feet and kick you with your back feet, and anyway, so my plan is to have a solitaire game being finished essentially, and then the pen writing down the new score. So I'll sort of make it up as I go along, but that will be in the show downstairs. So look at that. I wasted 29 minutes of your time, but maybe it wasn't a waste. It was fun going back to see my dad's stuff, and let me do this. I don't know if I'm in focus. Am I in focus? I don't know if that helped. This is my mask I can take off. I don't know if I'm going to get back to Minnesota this summer because I believe my family there is all well and uninfected by this pandemic. And if I get on an airplane, if I'm not infected now and I get on an airplane for 3 hours, guess who's going to be infected or exposed at any rate? So this might be the first time in, how old am I again? 60 years? Well, certainly the first time in 64 years I will not be home. I call that home, even though I lived here longer than I've lived anywhere. I won't be home, which is kind of sad. If I had a car, I would drive, but I don't have a car. So, should I have a GoFundMe? Send Peer Home Fund? I'm sure I could borrow a car, and I have some friends that are willing to give me a car, but it's just, I don't know. We'll see. But what I have been doing last Christmas, and my father died in August, and at Christmas when I went back, I started sorting through his stuff. We had sort of sorted through my mother's stuff, but since my mother's stuff belonged to my father, and now they belong to me and my brothers, we hadn't really gone through those things because they weren't ours, and now they are ours. And we're trying to decide what to do with them, and I'm looking through the jewelry, especially the jewelry and the drawings that my father had done, and document them in some way. And it's sad and fun at the same time, and I'm looking forward to doing that some more. And making videos of it to help me process and share, but more importantly, share his creativity. He has more creativity in his little finger than I do in all of my fingers and toes and most of the rest of my body parts put together. And I'm trying to do what he has done, which is to just try things out and do new things, and don't get stuck only doing the things that you know how to do. So, and that's one of the things that when I was a, quote, fine artist, a real artist selling in a real gallery and things like that, part of what was expected of me was to further my career. I shouldn't show something that isn't better than what I showed the last time. And I shouldn't show things that are too different from what I did the last time, because the people that liked what I did the last time want to see me do more of it, more of the same. And when I did try to move outside of the box I found myself in, I was discouraged, I'll put it that way, a little bit. And maybe the things I was doing that were outside the box were not very good. And looking back at them, I don't like them as much either. But so the critics were right, I guess. But I think it was important for any artist to not get stuck doing only what they know how to do. So my father did ceramics. he did jewelry, he did painting, he did collages, he did drawing. He designed clothes. He played the piano, but not following the rules. He just made a happening. That was what he did a lot. He would landscape his house, and he would hire workers, including me and my neighbor, to dig and replant things and put things up and put things around. And he was very good at waving his hands gracefully. And he would say, make it a happening. That went right over the heads of most people that were working for him. What the heck do you mean by that? You mean more paint or less paint? At the store he owned a clothing store. He had there was a grand staircase, and he, rather than painting the railings and the sides of the staircase a certain color, or staining the wood a certain color, he wanted the painters to dribble the paint. Well, that's something that painters normally don't do. They're discouraged from doing that. So he had to teach him how to do that. And this was long before there was faux painting and people painted something the right way back in those days. But my father wanted him to paint differently. So I'm not going to do ceramics, Dad. I'm not going to do that. But I will try to do some other things. And one of the things he always wanted me to do is go back to painting. So I bought some little, poke my eye out, little canvases. And I did do some painting when he was alive, and showed him that many of them were done with only one color, blue on white. And but I drew the house, parts of the house and the garden, things like that. And then I painted with 2 colors and then 3 colors. And there was one time I actually used 4 colors. And I painted with 3, but half the canvas was already painted with orange, bright orange. So I just decided to use that as one of the paint colors. And I did have fun. I still had a hard time with the paintbrush. I don't know really how to apply the paint. I paint like I'm drawing with a pen or a pencil. So it's the holding the brush and applying the paint, in which I don't know how to do yet well enough. So maybe I'll learn. What do you think? Anyway, Solitaire, back to those. Move my mask out of the way. Back to these. Thanks for watching. Bye.